So we are up in northern Michigan right now. I'm going to take you around, show you some things. So I thought it would be fitting if I made a video where I showed you these things actually out in the field. Instead of just showing you what's in the book, I can actually show you what it's like up in different parts of the state. Right now we're in Cheboygan, Michigan, so it's not like there's going to be a lot of variation between what you see. However, it will be, I think it'll be more interesting than just book information. To give you an idea of what the farming looks like in this area, if you look around, you can see trees. These are probably 80-acre clear cuts all the way back. And there's apple, you see that barn down there. We're right next to the sheep farm. If you can see that dark animal in the middle, that's a llama. Farmers use llamas to they're a protector animal. If a predator comes into the flock, the llama will actually stand up and try to attack the predator. This gives you an idea of an area. I mean, this couple 100 acres are just clear cut, just plain strict farming. This one here is predominantly there's sheep farms, so a couple of their fields are just for grazing for their sheep, but then they also grow other crops here as well. This farm has been in my girlfriend's family for probably 80 or so years. As you can see, it's not an overly large farm. However, there's the barn, there's the farmhouse and whatnot. This chapter we start talking about agriculture or farming in the state of Michigan. At one point in time, like we talked about, farming was a major industry of the state. However, the sad part is, this is what's becoming of all our farms, or a majority of them. Farm fields, you can see they're all cut. There's a shack over there in the woods, but it's all being run down. I mean, there's logs there, but I mean, it's going away. That's what's the sad part, is these barns. Some of them are incredibly beautiful. I mean, they're just unique. And they're going away. They're turning into just piles of broken wood like that. We're up on top of the ridge across from the campground, and this is a old farm clearing. So if you look, these trees right here are apple trees, and these so they cut this whole field out of the woods. As you can see, the woods start to come into play right there again. So the idea is, this used to be an old farm. Probably, don't know when it was started. However, it was repossessed during the Great Depression. So sometime in the 30s, the family lost everything they had. And here is the foundation of their house. There's a bunch of stuff in here now, just a bunch of rotten metal. People just come over here, dump things off here. There's some old cars left here, some Model A's, some Model T's. Most of that has been stripped away. Now if you notice, there's some huge pine trees all around this clearing. I'm going to show you some really big pine trees later. This is clearing number 1. This is where the house was. This is where they had their apple trees, probably a field or two. If you follow this 2-track behind me, we follow that 2-track into the woods. There's 2 more clearings about a 1/4 mile deep, and there are fences that went all the way through this woods blocking off this area. The state is coming in, and they're going to timber out this area except for where this farm used to be. Okay, so we're right next to the farm site. I want you to take a look at this tree right here. And there's a massive tree. There's one behind it. There's really big trees that were never cut down during the lumberjacks. They, I mean, because this was part of a farm, they probably didn't want all the trees cut down because this was their home. So they didn't cut down all the trees here. That tree right there, relatively big, probably 2.5 feet in diameter. So this area is just full of relatively large pine trees. The interesting part is there's a fire ring up here. This is now state land. After the people in the farm lost their land, the state bought it back. So here's fire ring. People come up here, they go camping. However, up here in a little bit is what I really want to show you. And these are two really huge pine trees. These are the ones I was telling you about the other day, where you could cut them and they'd be about the size of your desks. So we're getting close. So there's two of them right there, one in front of the other. I mean, I'm standing right up next to it right now. It's huge. I mean, this tree is probably 3.5 to 4 feet wide. There's another tree over here. It's just a huge tree. So the state is going to leave these trees alone. However, everything around here, except for what is considered the farm area, will be clear cut or lumbered. So this is that tree. Probably 50 to 70 feet tall. Here's some roots. Probably about 6 to 8 inches in diameter there alone. It's right on this path, so it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a big pine tree. This should help show you that history is not just in books. History is not just me telling you stories. History is real life. This has actually impacted somebody's life. This farm, like I said, was repossessed during the Great Depression. The family lost everything. Now it's state land. So because it was somebody's private property, some of the things that you won't see around the state are left. So these really big pine trees were never cut. These are probably old growth or original pine trees. Early timber was moved on sleds. Did it in the winter. The easiest time to move anything. Think about it. Put something on your sled, it's a whole lot easier to move than if you're dragging on the dirt. We have a couple of these sleds here. This right here is more like a passenger sled, but there is room inside, as you can see, for some wood. This is rotting. This is just for decoration in front of the park. Over here, however, is more of a wood hauling sled. You see, you hook it up to whatever. It has these teeth here to kind of grab onto the log. Has these pieces of wood here to hold the log in on the sled. The idea is you lay your logs in there, you pull it, it slides along the snow, you get your logs cut wherever you need them to go. Okay, so we've talked about the importance of wood to different people. So we talked about how you build our homes from wood, talked about how you build different things from wood. However, one thing that we kind of didn't talk about was kind of common sense is what else you use wood for. Fires. This right here is a wood stove. You fill it up in the morning. Right now, you fill it up in the morning, it'll last pretty much all day. You fill it up when it's cold outside, and it will last you probably, fill it as full as you can in the morning, and then you'll have to fill it up again because it'll be completely empty by night. So my uncle has a trailer here full of wood that we collect during the year or collect during all of our time cutting down trees, because continuously trees are falling down, trees are dying, and you don't want, that's kind of dangerous for campers to be around trees that could fall over. There's the monster truck. Call it the Mackinac Monster. I mean, it's an impressive looking truck. It's kind of fun. Like I said, never driven it, but I would assume it's fun. I've ridden in it, and that's fun. These are racks full of wood. The front end loader comes in, picks them up, puts them right next to the wood stove, and you just empty them out into the wood stove. More bunks right there of firewood. Then you have the pile of firewood. Just kind of keeps going. this double section right here, double wide, so it's about 16 feet wide by about 8 to 10 feet tall. And I mean, this double section right here behind me, probably 50, 75 feet. That's a lot of wood. So think about it. The timber industry is still going in Michigan. So Cheboygan was founded on timber. They had a very large timber industry, and as you can see, I don't know if you can see it right now, but this is a giant, this is at their fairgrounds. This is a giant log roller. Basically, you hook it on one end and you can roll the logs to where you want them to go. And then over here, this is the fairgrounds. They have like dirt bike races, demolition derbies, you know, all those typical fair things. And then, so they have that giant log roller. And then over here, they have a giant axe. This kind of helps show you that Cheboygan was founded on timber. You look at these boards right here. These are rough sawn timber from a small sawmill. If you look back here, you see there's logs, there's tractors, there's sawdust from where he's cutting wood. The orange thing over there is a sawmill. So this is a smaller, privately owned mill that does work for mainly firewood, but then he provides some of the wood produced for the campgrounds, building supplies. So the interesting part about this barn is not only was it a farm barn, but it was also a sawmill in the early 1900s, which is why there were logs around it. I found that out after filming. So we're here at the campground, and there's a unique story about a certain part of the park. If you look down there by those trees, follow this road all along, you see the site numbers, all the way down to my car down there. This is called the 600 area. The interesting part about this is it's right along the lakefront right here. So you see the Mackinac Bridge, you see the island straight ahead, you see my girlfriend standing in her coat, and you see Round Island's the small one, Boys Blank or Boblo Island's down there. The village, there's actually a village right here in the 600 area, and it was a fishing village. So what they would do is they had their houses, they had storage places here, and in the winter they would walk out onto the ice, use their nets, use their lines, catch the fish, bring them back, store them in here using the ice from the lake and sawdust and giant pits underneath their houses. The village actually got destroyed because one day they went out to go fishing. They were out on the lake, they turned around and they saw that there was smoke coming up from their village. It burned down, and they just decided never to rebuild it, so they moved out. I told you about the cabins from the Underground Railroad. This is one of them. And then as you come around the corner, there's the other one. Hidden in the trees, so I moved that cabin in there. And I moved that cabin into there. This is a 1956 Dodge school bus. The idea behind this is it's fun. In the winter, he drives this around. As you can see, it's cut off. Only part of it is left as a school bus. The rest, there's a winch on the back of it, and we drag sleds behind it. So you drive around the campground, pulling these sleds